Hi guys, it's John, and you're watching John's Theories, one guy's take on the news. So this is the deal. I am going to start this YouTube channel as essentially an amateur talk show. Everything's going to be live. I'm not going to edit anything out. So if I misread something or perhaps make a mistake or you hear a dog bark, that is just the price you will have to pay for watching my video. Anyways, today we're going to be talking about Trump and his 100 Days plan. Now, if, like me, in all of these debates on social media and with friends, you decided that it might be a good idea to read Trump's 100-day plan, you might have gone to Google and typed in Trump's 100-day plan. At which point, you're not going to get anything but CNN and USA Today videos, Fox News, The Hill, NPR. I have gone through all these, as you can see. NPR was the only one that even came close to giving you Trump's 100-day plan. It's not the full plan, but at least a news agency out there is actually doing some journalism. I think CNN listed 6 of the points that we're about to review, and one of them called it, like, destroying the earth. Man, CNN, it's crazy. Me and my friends, we call CNN the Communist News Network. If you don't call it that, you should start. Anyways, CNN, please don't sue me. I don't know what my legal limits are on this show. Let's just keep going. Anyways, so if you actually want to read it, you can't type into Google, Trump's 100-day plan. What you have to type in is Trump's contract with the American voters, which you can see Google doesn't even register this, right? Because why would they ever want us to read the actual 100 days plan? People, if you don't think companies are biased, then you're living outside the scope of reality. Anyways, so let's get into it. The actual name of the article is Donald Trump's delivers groundbreaking contract for the American voter in Gettysburg. So that's the name of it. You can look it up yourself. Anyways, it starts with a bunch of quotes, and then it gets into the meat and potatoes. It says, basically, Trump in his first 100 days, when it comes to ending corruption or addressing corruption in Washington, D.C., this is what he's going to do. 6 things. The first one being propose a constitutional amendment to impose term limits on all members of Congress. Now, remember, guys, Trump can't actually just change the Constitution himself. He has to ask or convince Congress to end their own power, right? So you got to think about it like this. The only reason why the congressmen don't want term limits is because they have this hierarchy built. So when you're a junior congressman or a junior senator, you have 0 power, right? But if you toe the line enough times, and if you make friends and make the right deals, you eventually move up the Republican or Democrat chain of command. And we've all seen the purchase papers, right? You have to fundraise $1 billion to become the Speaker of the House and all this stuff, right? So this idea of term limits will stop all of that. I mean, as it stands right now, our federal congressmen, congresspeople, rather, they ignore their constituents all the time. And you can't really blame them. They have millions and millions of people in their district. So how is it that they're supposed to represent us? Are they supposed to come to every town and have a town meeting and talk to everybody? And really, they could never functionally do that. Now, the only way they could actually try to represent us that I can think of is they could poll us, right? So if we had a polling, I mean, heck, my congresswoman could, on our Facebook page, have a Facebook polling thing, And sure, it's kind of an estimate and anybody can click on it. But hell, man, use some of that money that we send you every year to make an official polling site. And then it's real easy. You just ask the people, hey, on HR 125, do you want me to vote yes or no? And then they poll that district through whatever legal means that we can. Maybe when we register for our driver's licenses, we could get registered for voting, and we could also get registered for polling. And we get a unique username and password, and we sign in, and it's attached to our driver's license number. and we say, yes, we do want HR 125, or we don't want HR 125. And then all they do is represent us, the people. I mean, that's their job, right? They're supposed to represent us, not some private political club called the Republicans or some private political club called the Democrats. No, it's the people they're supposed to be representing. Anyways, Trump has to figure out a way to get Congress to basically give up all that power, which, if I was in his shoes, what I would do is I would blackmail him. I would say, look, I'm going to veto everything that comes to my desk until you guys pass term limits. And who knows? We need to have a little shakeup, man. And you want a shakeup, blackmail Congress. you know, Maybe I should be president. Anyways, let's go to the second point here. Looks like he's going to do a hiring freeze on federal employees to reduce the federal workforce through attrition. This, of course, exempts military, public safety, and public health. I personally, reading the Constitution, believe that my interpretation, right, is that the military is one of the only valid things that the federal government does, right? If we use the general welfare section of the Constitution, we could sit there and say, hey, you know what? We need to tax everybody at 90% because for general welfare, we need to be able to provide everyone with a house and everybody with food. And the next thing you know, we're like a totally socialist nation. And hey, it's just for the general welfare. No, we have to push back against these career politicians. We always have to push back against people in power because power corrupts, right? So, like, if we don't push back and we just say, they're corrupt, whatever, well, guess what? Next thing you know, the laws go from 10 laws to 1,000,000 laws because we have no check on our government. This is why people have to start getting engaged in this stuff, man. You have to start caring because otherwise the people in power will use that power. Anyways, let's go on. So we go to the third. Looks like a requirement for every new federal regulation created, 2 existing ones have to be eliminated. Now, I had a Democrat tell me on social media, hey, this is a horrible idea because these regulations exist for a good reason, right? Well, do they? Do they really? Because every time, and I am a C-SPAN addict, man. I listen to these hearings all the time. I listen to these sessions all the time. And everything is a special interest exception to the rule. I know a girl named Mary Sue, and Mary Sue died of heroin overdoses. We have to create massive government spending and massive government regulation for Mary Sue. Dude, you know what? I'm sure there are people dying of drugs, but it's a little thing called freedom, right? You can make your choices and you can die. And we have to draw a line as a community, as a country, and say, look, the government cannot regulate everything. Do we want that? And if we do, how is that not fascism? Like, I'm sorry. Like, there's 3 different fascist rock stars in world history, and they all came from socialist backgrounds. So this coincidence that, Democrats want our government to be all-powerful, unquestionable, and literally regulate every second of every day. Like, there is no place. I am not the king of my home. My home can be taken from me like that. My family can be taken from me like that. There is no place where I actually get to call the shots. And I think that's a horrible, horrible tragedy. I think America needs to reevaluate the dictionary and the definition of freedom, and we need to redefine our relationship with it. Freedom does mean that good people get to make good decisions and bad people get to make bad decisions. But if we've learned anything from history, anyone trying to exert control over people, it never works. It never works. I mean, look at America. We have some of the strictest drug laws, and yet we are the #1 consumer in the world. Interesting. It doesn't work. All it does is it creates a tyrannical government who ends up doing really screwed up things to their people. Anyways, let's keep going. Boom. 4th, 5-year ban on White House and congressional officials becoming lobbyists. So basically what happens is because these guys have Rolodexes, they get hired by the lobby. And this is best case, mind you. This is the least corrupt. So if you come out of, let's say, the House, right? And you've been working with all these powerful congressmen, for the last 20 years. You come out of the House, you have this huge level of influence. And these lobbyist companies, they buy that influence so that you can go back in and convince your buddy that you've worked with for 20 years, hey man, why don't you help with this company? Now that's best case. Worst case is they actually pass a bill based on some backroom deal where they say, hey man, if you get this bill passed for us, we'll give you a lobbying job for $50 million a year and you never have to come to work, right? Point is, it's just so prime for corruption. It's not even funny and it shouldn't exist. In reality, lobbying shouldn't exist, right? All of it should be out. Then we go into the fifth, a lifetime ban on White House officials lobbying on behalf of foreign governments. That just seems like common sense, man. We have official channels for this stuff. At no point should congressmen be taken out to lobster dinners on the behalf of the Chinese government. That shouldn't be happening. And then sixth, also, it's a common sense thing. Complete ban of foreign lobbyists raising money on American elections. Saudi Arabia should not be funding Hillary Clinton, right? Do we all agree? Yeah, we all agree. All right, let's go on to the next section. It is on the same day, Trump will begin taking the following 7 actions to protect the American worker. So this is his 100 days plan specific to protecting the American workers. First, Trump will announce his intention to renegotiate NAFTA or withdraw from it completely. This is a Clinton legacy nightmare that went along with the China nightmare, which went along with the housing bubble nightmare. Clinton really screwed up this country. And if you haven't studied his administration, you really should take some time to do so. That guy screwed up our country hardcore. Anyways, let's go into the second one. It looks like Trump is going to announce or withdraw from the Trans-Pacific Partnership. Also a Democrat / socialist, horrible trade deal. Okay, let's go to third. And hey guys, here's my theory, right? So my theory with this whole thing is, Democrats are collectionists. They want to be collectivists rather. They like the ideas that go along with socialism and communism and stuff. And if you don't think about it, it's great. Communism is the best thing ever, as long as you don't think too hard about it, right? Then you start thinking to yourself, wait a second, we're gonna give all the power to one guy and he's gonna be the administrator. Wait, isn't that how Hitler happened and how Stalin happened and how Mussolini happened? How every evil dictator in the 21st century and the 20th century came to being is through this idea. Collectivism is a really bad idea, but that's what the Democrats are all about. And with that being said, they want global collectivism. So, I get it. It's kind of a crazy theory, but what if? Just what if they want America to take some of their money and give it to poorer countries so they have more money? I mean, it's kind of like their domestic policies, right? Tax the rich more and then give it to the poor people. So that's collectivism, that's socialism. They want to do that on a global scale, and I think that's what all these horrible, horrible trade deals were all about. It's definitely what the global warming thing's all about. If you look at the Paris Accord, the plan is to what? We're going to pay poor countries, and that's going to stop the weather. I don't know if you guys knew this or not, but the Southwest, where I live, used to be like the Caribbean. It was a beautiful tropical sea, right? And then the weather changed. Now, was that because the dinosaurs were making too many tires? No, man. The weather changes. This is how our Earth works. And guess what? Redistributing wealth is not going to stop that. But whatever. Anyways, let's keep going. Looks like Trump's going to direct his Secretary of the Treasury to label China a currency manipulator. That's great news because it's going to basically shut down all the doors. Well, it'll shut a lot of doors for China, and it's going to hurt them. It's going to hurt their economy big, and they're either going to have to change their ways, or we're going to go to war. That's usually how it works. All right. So fourth, Trump is going to direct his Secretary of Commerce and U.S. trade representatives to identify foreign trading abuses and basically make them all better. Who can argue against that? Fifth, Looks like Trump's going to restrict lift